anyways, let's get into the last main topic.
Okay, so this here, we're going to talk about the best releases for 2024.
Yep.
Okay, so I think hands down, without a doubt, in my opinion, this is my number one pick for sure.
Okay.
It's the Marshall JTM Studio.
Was that this year or last year?
That was this year.
Man, it feels like it's been out a while.
If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure it was January of this year.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it's been a year.
I mean, yeah, but it was this year.
Yeah, it was this year. It was NAMM show this year.
Okay. Anyways.
That thing, I think everyone fell in love with it as soon as it came out. They sent one to Tom Bukovac as soon as it came out. All the Anderton boys loved it as soon as it came out. They sound incredible. They look amazing.
They do look awesome.
The feature set's perfect for what they are.
Yep.
It's a right wattage. The cabinet that comes with them, or if you get it in the combo's perfect.
Yep.
What's not to like about that?
I was about to say, it's awesome that they actually, it's like a recreation, but for a normal person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
like
the Plexi one they done was great. The Silver Jubilee one, the 800 one they've done, have all been good, and they were out years before. But this JTM one, for whatever reason, hit the market like a wrecking ball. Yeah. I mean, just like...
It looks awesome, and it looks different than a typical Marshall. I mean, it looks like the early Marshalls.
Maybe that's part of... I mean, let's be honest, you know, the looks means a lot for guitar players.
Yeah.
So maybe that's some of it. But, yeah, I mean, just... For me, that's number one. When I think about this last year of releases,
yeah,
that's got to be the best one for me.
Yeah, I think for me, this is going to go hand in hand, but the Pod Express and the Boss IR2.
Okay.
Because they gave you the option to go direct without changing everything in your life. If your amp goes down, they're a perfect solution. If you're recording directly, they're the perfect solution. I mean... And they're so feature friendly with the switching of the 2 channels in the IR2 with the presets in the pod.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard to complain with those two.
Very hard to complain. I love both of those. I think both of those fall on the best of the list.
Yeah.
One thing that I think kind of falls in between, okay, so this is kind of going back to the other main topic where we were talking about the worst, but was Keeley's releases. He had those 3 pedals. It was the Angry Orange, the Blues Disorder, and then what was it? Super Rodent was the name of it.
Okay.
So there was those 3 pedals he released. You could change the EQ structure to be the 2 different pedals.
Right.
And then the clipping to change. I think the Blues Disorder went over and is without a doubt one of the best. I think everyone loved that.
Okay.
The other 2, I don't know if it's because they all kind of released at the same time and the Blues Disorder just took over. Maybe you should have stair-stepped the releases.
Right.
But the other 2's releases were not near as popular.
Well, the Noble-inspired one, the Noble Screamer, it's weird because it's like 2 very different pedals in one. I don't know how to explain it. Like, to me, if I want a Nobles, I want a Nobles. I'd want nothing to do with a Tube Screamer.
Yeah, me too, but neither of us are really big Tube Screamer guys.
Right.
You are a little bit more than I am. But I do like the idea of being able to switch the EQs and stuff.
Yeah, it is cool how you can do that. I don't know. I'm just not, like, when I hear it, I'm not like, oh, that's like the best Nobles. It's just, I don't know, very different.
Yeah. So I think the Blues Disorder one, I think the Noble Screamer probably hits on the best of the year. I think the other 2, the Angry Rodent and the whatever Orange, I think probably falls on the worst in my opinion.
Okay.
I think they were kind of a little hit and miss.
Yeah.
Another one of the best that had talked about here recently was this Jack White collaboration with Fender.
It is so cool.
It's the coolest thing.
I also think this might help change kind of the layout for some big manufacturers, and they might decide to, you know what, take a chance.
Sometimes
take a chance on me.
Take a chance on me.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think the way he went about it, I think the feature set that comes on the amp, I think the unique guitar he come out with, everything about it, just home run, man.
Yeah, and it's taking a nod to the vintage aspect, but just doing something completely different.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
It's amazing. We had an episode about it. You guys can go back and watch that. And we get into it a little more in depth, but that's exactly what Fender should be doing. in my opinion. There's other things you got to do too with it.
Yeah. I mean, the Buck Owens thing was cool too.
Yeah, it was. But a all-tube 115 and 110 amp combined that's humongous is not for everybody.
Not for everybody, but man, is it cool.
It's cool, and something along that mindset of vintage but with new features. Such a cool idea for Fender to do, rather than just an old reissue, or rather than just some new like modeling technology or something. Right. Like I said, go back, watch that episode. We talked about that a bunch. And then there's another best of that I don't think got the attention that it should have.
Okay.
And this is kind of my sneaky pick here.
All right.
And guys, tell me if you feel the same way. Tell me if you've checked him out. But I think we're going to go back and look and be like, this didn't get the popularity it should have, but it's amazing. Is the PRS DGT 15 amp.
Okay.
That head and cabinet they come out with David Grissom is amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds incredible. 15 watts. The feature set is perfect. I mean, it's hard to... It's kind of like the DGT guitar they come out with here a while back. The SE specifically. That it's kind of the standard for PRS. The DGT is, I think. And I think this amp is another one of those things where maybe it's not getting the publicity that it should be getting, but it is a standard that's hard to beat. Right. It sounds great. 2 EL84s. It kind of seems to be pretty Vox inspired.
Vox and Marshall.
Yeah, kind of somewhere in between there. And it just sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the best releases that probably is not getting the attention it deserves.
Yeah, I agree.
The JTM studio we talked about earlier, just, I think, overshot it and has been carrying it for the whole time. But if it wasn't for that, I think this DGT amp would have been way more popular.
Yeah, it might have been. I think it's like super versatile.
Yes.
I mean, talk about an amp that can literally do anything you need it to.
Yeah, and sound great while doing it.
Yeah.
David Grissom isn't sticking his name. He kind of falls in the same camp for me as Eric Johnson. Whenever I hear him release something, I'm like, oh, I better stop what I'm doing and listen up. Because he knows what he's talking about when it comes to gear.
Right.
You know, there's only a handful of those guys. Whenever a general player puts out a signature piece of gear, I'm always kind of like, oh, okay, well, I'll check it out. Like, see what kind of feature set he's got on this or what the specs are of it. But David Grissom puts it out, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to listen. This is a class. It's time to sit down and listen because he's very, very sharp with gear, but he's also a monster player and knows what he needs out of his gear, which is hugely important, especially for us that are live musicians. You know, I think it's really important to know what you're going to need out of your gear. And I think that's another big one, though.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add to this?
Not that I can think of. That's all I got.
I think that's a pretty good list.
That's a good list.
Tell us if we're missing something. Is there another best of? Is there another worst of? Or did we have something on the wrong side?
Yeah, let us know.
I got a feeling that there's going to be some people out there that think we're on the wrong side of things.
Yeah, most of the time.
But that's all right, man. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.